starts to cook at 105.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is Officer Mark Bob with I.S.U.P.K. We're going to get started here in one moment. If you watch and share the class, you understand? I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh. Hey, shout out to Trooper Shabayala, Sign Christ, you know what I'm saying? The water for tuning in. Hardcore warrior right there, you know what I mean? I gotta change that title. Somebody. Shalom, with I.S.U.P.K. coming out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, under Commander GEN.YAHANNA. My name is Officer Makabak, and I would like to welcome you to the I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh class. Yes, I said I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh, right? Commander GEN.YAHANNA is taking ground in Pittsburgh, so if you're in the Pittsburgh area, make sure you get in contact with us. I want you to call this number for the time being. Contact me, Officer Makabak, at area code 502-498-7288. 502-498-7288. If you are in the Pittsburgh area and you want to inquire about the I.S.U.P.K, hit me up. Right, so tonight is going to be a law class about the dietary laws of the Most High. See, here's the thing. Scripture said that our body is the temple of the Most High. And when you know anything about the temple in the scripture, they took care of the temple. They didn't just let it get run down, right? They took care of it. It was very meticulous acts in which they serviced the temple and the tabernacle at that too. So we're going to go into the scriptures tonight. And we're going to look at the Most High's intent. Because in that Christian church, they teach that black people can eat hog maws, fatback, chitlins, and that it's okay. They say, well, Paul declared all foods clean, but he never said that. That is an improper interpretation that the Christian church has, right?
Right.
You understand? You listen to the Christian pastor, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, his first lady, she got big old wide ankles and stuff. She you know, stuffing her face with a fat back, you know, chitlin sandwich, you know, dab it hot sauce and chitlin. Look, it smell like boiled butt. You know, I'm just keeping it real. You ever seen, like I go, people in the world, you know, in my family, relatives stuff, they be cooking them chitlins, smell like boiled butt. Real talk. I'm just telling you straight, man. So why the hell would you want to eat the same foods that your slave master gave you in slavery? You know, that was food, the scraps from the slave master's table. Actually, he didn't even eat that. Really, you know what I'm saying? He gave all that stuff to us. He might have eaten the pork loin. If he did eat the pork, he was eating the cow and the best of the land. He gave that to the slaves. You know, the intestines. And hog maws is the stomach of the hog, right? All that stuff black people eat. So we're going to go into the scriptures and see what the Most High's intent as far as how we upkeep our bodies, as far as what we eat. And in this captivity, I know it's hard to eat certain fruits and vegetables and things like we really want to. That's why it's so expensive, right? It's so expensive to get an apple. Just for one apple, damn near costs $2 for an apple. And we wonder why the hell we not healthy. So we're going to get into the scriptures and see the Most High's original intent. All right. So we're going to go in the book of Genesis, the first chapter. We're going to go to verse 20. Let's start at 28. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 28. And God blessed them. This is talking about Adam, Eve. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Verse 49. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed. Now this is important right here. Why do you think they have seedless watermelons now? Seedless oranges. When the Most High said he give you herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, right? Because seed is very important in the eyes of the Most High. It's the genesis, right? It's the beginning. Just like a man carries his seed and he brings forth a generation. Do you know that a papaya seed has thousands of seeds, and when those seeds germinate, or they, you plant those, it can produce all these trees that can produce thousands more papayas, just like the pomegranate. They say that the pomegranate got exactly 613 seeds in it. And in the scriptures, they had the pomegranate on chains, right, in the temple. There's something very significant about that pomegranate. I'm not going to go into it now, but it was just symbolic because of the seed in that food. Now, what do they give us? They give us GMO watermelons. They give us GMO oranges, and give us things that don't even have seeds. You know what I mean? Broccoli and cauliflower and different things that was created basically in a lab. You understand? That's why they promoting that. And some of y'all like, well, we got seed. Yeah, her marijuana plant do have seed, but it's not for smoking. You see what I'm saying? There's probably medicinal properties in that, but it's not for smoking. You know what I'm saying? We so far removed from how we utilize the earth and the land, we don't know what stuff really is. Hell, we walk past the cure of cancer every day. These little shrubs and these bushes with these little berries and stuff. We look at it and it looked like poison to us. The birds and different animals know that, live off the earth. We scared. Hell, it was a story on social media where it was a Edomite girl, and she was eating something. She said, "Ew, it's a leaf on my burger." It was like some lettuce or a little piece of spinach. You ever look at spinach, ew, it's a leaf on my burger. You know what I'm saying? And that's how far removed we are from nature. And of course, our women silly. They, do whatever it is that their oppressor do. And ew, I can't stand leaves either on our food. You see what I'm saying? They gotta, feed their kids Lunchables and stuff that come out of a pack. That's what they call food, which is really food substance. It's not really food. So we understanding the Most High's original intent when he created the human body. He wanted for this body to be nourished with vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all kind of different things. Right. You want to bring something out of one?
No, I was going to say, like all the type of omega-3s and all of that good stuff,
right.
He made our bodies to want to, take in all of that. And also we need iron, things like iron and stuff like that, because all these elements are supposed to actually be in us.
Right. And it's real heavy because a lot of people don't understand that iron is very essential. And when we say iron, it's the organic iron, not the kind they put in cereal. That's inorganic, right? Because iron is the only magnetic mineral that draws all the other minerals in. So if you don't have no iron, You can't get zinc, you can't get gold, platinum, you can't get zirconium and all this stuff you probably never heard of that your body needs. When you get the full spectrum of nutrients, you can run faster, you can hear better, you can do all this stuff.
Right.
Meanwhile, we in the ghetto living on noodles.
Right. And we'll worry that noodles that have no nutritional value to it, and you got that sodium pack. That's all you're getting out of a pack of noodles is some sodium that comes from the pack that you use to season your noodles with. The noodles themselves ain't really got no nutritional value at all.
Right.
They're like the placebo of foods. You know what I'm saying?
And it's real heavy, you know, with that one I'm bringing out because that food right there that's purpose. Why do you think it's so cheap? Why do you think it's so cheap to get a pack of noodles for $1? You know what I'm saying? And think about how dry and hard the noodles are. What do you think it does in your intestines when you eat them? That's why a lot of times you constipate it. And you got to drink a whole lot of water to flesh it out. You know, you eating them noodles and they taste good for a minute. Then, damn, I got to drink some water. Because that's what happens in your intestines. They get hard, they clog up your intestines, and they know that. You think that these damn, your oppressors, they in a lab, right? And they doing experiments on certain things, and then they're adding certain elements, and then they figure how it works on the human body. And they give it to you and us for cheap Kool-Aid. Things like that, stuff that we can only afford. We drinking Kool-Aid and different things. A lot of that's poison. And it's called binary poison if you didn't know that. That's where you take two different elements and you connect them together and it creates an element synergized to take you out. But you got to do it in a slick way, right? You got to, you know, can't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. So they know, okay, we give them this amount of food. They can only live on such amount of food stamps a month. And they're going to buy this, this, and this. And they're going to connect that stuff. And when they eat it, it causes binary poisoning. See? Where we're supposed to have fresh apples and oranges and celery and stuff like that every day. Greens, you know, greens and stuff to nourish our bodies. We living on next to nothing in this goddamn captivity, right? We wonder why, damn, we got these aches and pains and all this kind of stuff like that. We don't got to get up and go. And then our women even look at us, you know, like, you know, look at us strange or something like that. Well, hell, everything you frying has got goddamn oil in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And meanwhile, you wonder why your oppressors bungee jumping and jumping off mountains and running and going trailing and stuff like that, riding bikes and stuff. And we ask them to change our diets and stuff like that. I don't know. You know, she margarine and all the fats and oils and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like that.
And if I will worry, also it has to do with too is eating healthy is not cheap though.
Right.
It's not cheap. You know, in this captivity, it's funny because, you know, all we can do a lot of the time is the best that we can do because we don't, and they do that on purpose. You know, they make certain foods cheap and certain foods expensive. Healthy foods, all the healthy foods is expensive. That's part of the oppression.
Right, right.
And that's one of the reasons why we get stuck, you know, we become what they call products of our own environment. You know what I'm saying? We get stuck in you know, and we want those foods because we figure we just can't get the other ones.
Right.
You know, so we're confined to that, and we done made that. We done in our mind psychologically we done made that our desire. You know, even though that ain't what we really desire, but our desires a lot of times are forced on us. You know,
most correct. And if it's real heavy too, because also, especially in Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? You know, there's no healthy nutritional foods in the hood.
Right.
You go to them Arab stores, about the healthiest thing in there they got is the water, and the water is acidic. The pH balance in the water's off. So you're really not getting anything healthy in them heathen stores. When I say heathen, I'm talking about anybody that's not a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. This class is for you. The laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High's Bible are for black people, Hispanic people, and Native Indian people only, which make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible.
Right.
We were supposed to eat certain foods, right? In God, the Most High's original intent, when I say the Most High, I'm talking about what you learned as God in a Christian church. His original intent was for us to be sustained. Now, thank the Most High, His mercy, you know, gets us, you know, through this captivity. We could be doing a lot better, though. They put a lot of expensive places like Whole Foods and things like that, where they sell organic fruits and vegetables in your oppressors' neighborhoods, where you don't got access to it. You got access to noodles, and you got access to big old chicken legs, but you don't even know if it's real chicken. It don't even taste like real chicken half the time nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of times what it is they give steroids to all of that food, all of the foods.
Right.
You know, they give steroids to them, you know, and it makes the stuff bigger because what they wanted to do, they wanted to grow bigger, fat and faster. You just like when I worked at the meat packing plant, you know, the I.S.U.P.K company, you know, in Louisville. You know, a lot of those hogs wasn't about 6 months old, and they're already 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no hog supposed to be 300 pounds in no damn 6 months. You know, 6 months to a year. Majority of them hogs is only 6 months to a year old, and they were beefed that fast, beefed up that quick.
Damn. That's crazy. And also they do that with cattle too, right? They inject a lot of cattle with hormones to mass produce, you know what I'm saying, the cattle so they can have all this meat, you know, because if they know to grow a natural healthy cow, it's going to take a long time.
Right.
So to fulfill your oppressor's lust and his wallet and line his pockets, what he does is that he injects these cattle and he breeds them, just like he bred black people in slavery. That's why we looked at it as chattel. They called us chattel.
Right.
You know what I mean, in slavery. And that was the same concept he got, you know, because he had to make certain foods to keep the slaves alive. That's why black people get the worst. We don't even get real meat nowadays. Hell, there's a store over here that says 100% pure. And then we're talking about beef, but it's another packet that says 100% natural.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
So go ahead, so like that one.
I knew a brother that I worked at that meat packing plant with. You know, he was an older brother. I was young. I was like, 23 at the time. And this brother was like, he was like, the age I am now, he's like 44, 45. He said when he was growing up, he said he had never tasted a hamburger until he was a grown man. He never ate beef before until he was grown. Everything, if he had any meat at all, it was pork. And a lot of times that's how it was back then, and you didn't get the best of the meat. You got the bacon and stuff like that. And he wasn't, this wasn't that long ago at all. You know what I'm saying? He said, if you eat, he said he never tasted beef until he was a grown man in the military.
Man, that's crazy. And it's real heavy because, some of the, I was in Esau's military too, and some of the best stuff I had, because of course they got to keep their soldiers alive and stuff like meat and chicken and stuff. I tasted real chicken, and I'm like, damn, this tastes better than any chicken I ever had. You know what I mean? Because they reserve that, for their, the people they feel like it's going to do the will of America.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
you be the healthy stuff, so you be a healthier, stronger soldier. If I will word. First time I ever tasted a real hamburger. I'm talking about one with a cow that was slaughtered. You know what I'm saying? I had a deer burger and a beef burger when I was down in St. Mary's, Georgia, at my aunt and uncle's. Man, when you fry it, it don't even shrink. So that show you right there that they're doing something to the other cows, and that's why when the meat be pink and it have the white in it and all of that. These burgers was red, all red, and they never shrunk. And not only that, they never produced no grease.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could sit there and take a burger and put it, on a plate with your little bun and all of that. Go do something for an hour, come back, and the grease won't even be up there. There won't even be no grease inside the bun.
Damn.
It will look just like, you know what I'm saying, how you set it there. And the meat tastes so much different and so much better than what I'm like, man, this is the first time I ever ate like a real hamburger for real.
That's crazy. Man, it's real heavy because, like, we got to understand that because the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, a lot of what we eat is totally opposite of what the Most High intended for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to eat. In fact, we're encouraged to eat the opposite. They know that a black man, don't make a lot of money out here. So what do they give you? They give you pork, chicken, hot dogs.
Right.
And they always add that pork element in there.
Right.
You know, why can't they just give you chicken hot dogs?
Right. On purpose.
Right. They give it to you on purpose. It's cheap, 99 cents, and they know, damn, brother ain't got that much money. I gotta eat. You know what I'm saying? So what do? You get that pack of bologna. You get that pack of hot dogs for $1. And you break the Most High's laws by doing that.
Right.
And that's what we got to understand. We got to look at the labels on this stuff. We got to pay attention because it's by design. You know what I mean? It's just like your life, you living in a maze, right? You don't see it. It's an invisible maze, and you are guided wherever the hell your oppressor wants you to go. You guided by what you eat, okay? Over here, we're only going to give them a certain amount of money to have to sustain them. So what do they got to eat? You're guided to that cheap meat lane to eat that pork and chicken hot dog. You're guided over here to eat them hog maws, you know, them chitlins. And here, you know what I'm saying, in the South where I'm from, hell, they love chitlins. You know what I mean? Those chitlins, they call them, you know what I mean? They cook them, so like, you want to have something?
Yeah, the chitlins, I mean, I just know just only been called chitlins. They do call them other stuff in other places, though.
Right, cod. That's just like chitlins is in menudo.
Right.
You know that?
I think they call it tripe somewhere else.
Right, tripe. Different parts of the hog.
Yeah, Vietnam they call it gao heo. The Vietnamese they call it gao heo.
Right. And that's the thing about it. With all that stuff, like I said, is designed to keep us unfit. And you wonder why a lot of black women in the community is heavy set. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a man in the home to govern them, to tell them what to eat. We teaching black women, you know, everybody, but the woman, she's usually the keeper of the home, and she cooks and stuff like that. We trying to tell her, you know, what foods to give our children. But they kick that black man out. Now what happens? She eats and indulges like her oppressor, you know what I mean? All the lustful meat and stuff, the hog meat and all that, and eat red lobster and all these catfish, these unclean foods, and then, you know, they want to ask you, do I look big? You know what I'm saying?
Now you're forced to tell the damn lie.
Now you know what, baby, you got a big heart. You know what I'm saying? You trying to avoid certain things because now, you know what I mean, she walking around there and, you know, you trying to eat right and be fit and stuff. That's why it's important for a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man to be in that home. You see what I'm saying? Because if he's not, the community is going to be damaged. Because let's keep it real. We go into the Willie Lynch letter right there. Your oppressor made it so that black single women would be the rulers of the black community, you know, seemingly. Right? Look at the ghettos, man. Look at kids, man. They going to, you know, surviving on juice packs and Hot Pockets and pizza rolls and all kind of stuff they give them, and then they wonder why the kids don't do good in school. You know what I mean? They don't have the nutrition to think straight. Where their counterparts, their oppressors, you know, they're coming in there, they got celery sticks and peanut butter and, you know, all these foods, right? You know, cheese sticks, and it's like, go ahead.
For Will, they even done shorted, you know, the foods that they get nowadays in school. They ain't even getting good meals in school no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They getting little stuff like, you know, little cups of this. They eating like they in jail. And they in school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. So think about it. Back in the day when I was growing up, you know, if you didn't eat good at home, you look forward to going to school so you can eat a good lunch. You can eat. You know, a lot of people just went to school just to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now they done took that off the table.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you hungry all goddamn day, get a goddamn fruit cup. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's a little piece of carrot or some weird stuff like that. You know, and then they wonder why the children act up. Right. That right there is not a nutritional thing. That's just them being goddamn hungry and mad. Because, you know, people get cranky when they're hungry.
Exactly.
And then you can't even go to school and eat nothing either.
Right.
And then you go back home and there's no food.
You go back home, there's no food. And then what do? They make it like that. So when they finally, your oppressor finally swoops in and brings some food, what do? You look at him as God. You look at him as a savior. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's just like where I live down south in Kentucky. They used to have a park called Victory Park when I was a kid. And we had to wait on this big old white truck. Right? We had to wait on this big old white truck. And they open the back of that big white truck, and it'd be all these little white boxes, a whole bunch of them, free lunches for the black community. What did they feed us though? Pork bologna sandwiches. You know, maybe a pear in there, a juice, and some milk.
Right.
But we look at them white people that came in that truck like they was something special.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? And when they had the same Bible that they gave us, from the Christian's perspective, to say we were supposed to eat stuff with seed in it. They gave us a rotten apple. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a lot.
It's even worse now than it was back then, though.
Yeah.
Back then, at least you could get free blocks of cheese. You know, you get free cheese, free butter, and stuff like that. Nowadays, they done cut all of that stuff out.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? They done cut all of that out now. Now you can't even get any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You used to be able to get, you know, certain stuff like that. You know, government, you know, the government foods that come, you know, their cans and stuff that come in the white and black labels and stuff like that, you know. Now you can't even get none of that stuff. They done cut all of that out. Them big old blocks of cheese that people used to at least be able to make sandwiches out of. You know what I'm saying? They done cut all of that out now.
Right. And that's real heavy. That cheese was kind of good too.
Right, right. And the butter. You know, big old block of butter.
Right.
You know, look what butter is costing you now.
Right. Butter.
And that was real butter.
Right. Real butter. You know what I'm saying? And actually butter is a lot healthier for you than that margarine stuff, because the margarine stuff is full of vegetable oils and things they know clog the arteries. You know what I'm saying? The Most High knew that stuff that he gave us, that he wasn't going to do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot.
A lot of that stuff is made of plastic. That's what a lot of people don't know. Even a lot of the rices that people get is actually plastic.
Right.
You know, you got to be real, you know, on what kind of rice that you get. A lot of that stuff is plastic.
Right. It's real heavy, because I think I seen that on social media where they put the little rice, you know, rices in a pan and tried to fry it, and it wouldn't even melt halfway. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it was crazy. Or you seen it. It was melting like plastic. You know what I mean? Like, damn, what the hell? And we eating that. We eating that stuff. It don't have seed in it. That's the point. Now, you know the story about the flood, right? If you was in that Christian church, they probably taught you stories and different things about Noah, right? He had 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and their wives, of course, Noah's wife. They got off the ark, and then the Most High gave the command to Noah to eat meat now. Now, here's part of the reason is because the land wasn't yielding the produce. So they had to survive some way, you know what I'm saying? They had to survive because it wasn't, you know, nothing produced yet. So until the land started producing seed-bearing fruit and vegetables, he gave the command to eat meat then. You know what I'm saying? So that's where meat comes into play. Some people say they become, what you call it, vegans and all that stuff, and say you're not supposed to eat meat. Well, God told Noah to eat meat. You know what I'm saying? Of the cleansing.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
And also, the priesthood. What were the priests commanded to eat?
Right.
You know, the sacrifices were what? They was meat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The sheep and all of that, you know, and people ate of the sacrifices. As a matter of fact, when a person was made a king, when King Saul was made a king, what did they give to him? They gave him the shoulder of the ox. Right. You know what I'm saying? That was supposed to be the best part of the ox. The ox, you know, this type of ox was similar to a buffalo or bison or something, where they would have like the little back legs, but then be big and beefy, you know, in the front legs and stuff like that. That's why he got the shoulder. He's the king. You know what I'm saying? Right. He got the shoulder.
Yeah, the good portion.
Right,
you know
right. You know, there's nothing never wrong with eating meat. Right. You know what I'm saying? Nothing never wrong with eating meat. That's the reason why the Lord told Noah to put a certain amount of clean animals up on the ark and unclean. There was a difference between the clean animals and the unclean. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think it was 7 clean and it was 2 unclean of each. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so clean means something you can eat. Unclean means something you can't eat.
It's real heavy that you said that, because I'm going to bring this out in the book of Leviticus. Now, this is the laws that was given to Moses to give to the children of Israel, who are so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians on earth today, in the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, right? That's a cow. That's your different animals like deer. And is cloven footed. You gotta remember that aspect too. And cheweth the cud. What is that? You see the cow chewing the cud.
Right.
Because it's getting, like a cow has a couple of stomachs, right? He don't eat meat. He got a couple of stomachs to break down the cellulose in that grass. It goes through like different stages.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that was actually healthier for a human to eat that animal than to eat the swine. Because the swine will eat anything. The swine don't have pores to sweat. So it keeps all those toxins and stuff in it. You know what I mean? Same thing with shrimp in the ocean. Now think about this. Your oppressor got to get a boat. And he got to dive thousands of feet in the ocean to get something to eat. Whereas the Most High, you know what I'm saying, he put an apple tree or cherry right there for you to get. That should tell you that it wasn't meant for you to go in the bottom of the ocean and eat what the Most High created to clean the bottom floor of the ocean. All the poop of the whales and all the poop of all the fish and stuff like that. And then black women, you want to go to Red Lobster and eat shrimp scampi. You know, lobster tails with butter sauce and stuff like that. And you wonder why you don't smell right down there. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why the hell you don't smell right down there. That's because you eating all that abominable food that stinking goddamn chitlin sandwich eating Christian pastor told you could eat.
Right.
God, let's bless the hands that feed us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bless the hands that feed us, yes. Oh, good Lord, look at that. Yeah, this is real good. You know, he looking at your woman's thighs and looking at the hell.
Right,
it's
exactly.
good meat. You know what I'm saying? It's lustful demon come out of him. You know, just like that Reverend on that movie back in the day, Soul Food. You know what I'm saying? He talking about the chicken breast. He's looking right at that woman's breast. Oh, God bless us with you. Beautiful. You know, that lustful Christian pastor, you gonna believe him? You understand me? Don't believe that Christian pastor, man. Don't believe the hype. You feel me? I'm just trying to let you know what's cracking. Because, look, Pittsburgh, you have been deceived by those Christian churches, man. You in that Christian church, and he asks you for money. Meanwhile, he never even tell you what to eat. And now your big mama, she's in the hospital, got high blood pressure. She got, you know, gout. All this stuff going on, you know, what you call it, edema? Ain't that when they got water and stuff all in them? Edema,
something like
calves
that.
And stuff get real big, like elephant calves and stuff. Edema, that's when they get all kind of water and stuff like that. When they tell them to eat all these abominable foods. And then you say, well, Pastor, Big Mama, she's sick up there. Can you come up there and pray? Did you pay your tithes this month? You see what I'm saying? He can't even pray for your Big Mama because she didn't pay tithes. She was in the hospital. Right, she couldn't get the tithe money in there. And he got the accountants and stuff looking and say, let me see, Johnson. You know, just like the mob, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How they lean on different businesses and stuff like that. That's how the pastor works, like a mobster. You know what I'm saying? They lean on certain stores, you know what I mean, in the community.
Right.
And that's what they do in the black community. They lean on you. You didn't pay that tithe money? No, you don't get God's blessing in that Christian church. You feel what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You know? He ain't going to tell you how to eat. You keep eating them ham hocks. You keep eating hog maws. You make sure you bring me that baked chicken. He want the best for him. He want the best meat offerings for him. You know, that's when he'll tell you the law halfway there. That they brought, you know, going to Leviticus 2 and 7, it'd be a meat offering with fine flour. That's what I love. I love fried chicken.
Meat offering with the pork chop. He gonna eat the pork chops too. Bro.
He
gonna eat them too.
Right, he gonna eat the pork chop. You know what I mean? And then you know what? But if it come down to it, between him eating the best and you eating, he gonna make sure he get the best.
Right. And
he gonna make sure you get what's left, you know what I'm saying, in that frying pan, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you gotta understand. Tonight's class is about us eating properly as best we can in this captivity, man. Do the best you can. That's what we're saying.
Well, I remember my mother telling the story, you know, when she was, you know, little, you know, her and my uncles and everything, and, you know, my aunt, when they was little, how, you know, my great-grandmother used to invite the pastor over. And she would fry up a whole bunch of chicken so the pastor and his, you know, his wife and kids and everything could eat. She said that they used to have to, you know that little part on the chicken wing?
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about? That little part that you fold? Said they would get like that. You know, they would get that.
Wow.
They had to go and try and sneak a little something, you know what I'm saying, off the little chicken wing or something like that, or something, you know, it was that bad.
So the pastor, he got the best portion.
Yeah, and his family, and his wife, and his kids.
Wow.
You know, and they would come be sucking their teeth and everything, and they were sitting there like little, you know, like little slaves and shit, you know, trying to, you know, sneak something.
Right. And they learned that from the goddamn oppressors in slavery. That's
Right.
what you don't understand, that the Christian church is the mechanism of white supremacy.
Right.
I'm just going to keep it real. They taught them Christian pastors what to teach the black community, and that's how to sin.
Right.
They tell you, Jesus declared all foods clean. So if I tell you what, I'm going to eat my BLT, I'm going to eat my pork chop. I loves my pork chop.
I'm gonna come over at your house and I'm gonna have dinner with you. You know, and I'm gonna eat, you know, I'm gonna come and we're gonna eat chicken and such and such. But at the same time though, the pastor is not thinking, it should be on his mind, hey, wait a minute, you know, why should they, because he's supposed to be an overseer.
Right.
You know, making sure that everybody gets fed good. He's supposed to be taking and seeing this woman, you know, what she's actually doing and inviting her kids and everything along to eat also.
Exactly.
That would be the good thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But all he cared about was him and his family. Right. And that's you know, that's why it's so evil to be taught to be just a family man. Because you just a family man, but they teach you that's godly though.
Right.
So only be a family man and only worry about taking care of your family. And you know, they teach you that.
Exactly.
That's what they teach inside the Christian church. And it sounds like it's good. We doing that because we think it's right. You see posts on Facebook all the time. A real man just take care of his family. Right. A real man, a godly man, just take care of his family. That's all he do is take care of his family. That's all a godly man do. All a real man does, right?
Yeah. You take care of your dog too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the difference. You know what I'm saying? Not think about the community, not think about somebody else's household. You know what I'm saying? We trying to build a nation in I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
Under Commander GEN.YAHANNA. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it. You posting plates and stuff like that. Post yourself feeding brothers or serving brothers with them plates.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? That's the thing about it. And we talk about clean foods, not something that you got from your slave master at work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And do it regardless of whether it's on camera or not.
Right.
Either or.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Real
Do
talk.
it either goddamn way.
Most side Christ. And that's the thing about it. You know, if you want to do your good works, that's cool, man. Let not what the scriptures say, the right hand know what the left hand's doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's saying. It's like you're not doing this stuff for vainglory. You're doing it to please the Most High.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's a sister out there, you might not have a husband right now, but you see single brothers and stuff like that, man, make sure them brothers eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, you know, I made a big old pan of lasagna, spaghetti or something like that. Come on in. You got that good corporate job. You got that corporate job from your oppressor, and you got all this money, you don't even know what to do with it. Why don't you contact the I.S.U.P.K.? Go to www.isupk.com. Leave a message there. Say, hey, I want to get involved. Hey, I know y'all said y'all got brothers, some single brothers that want to eat. I know how to cook. I know how to throw down in that kitchen. Let me know. You know what I mean? What brothers is in this city, and I'll get with the brothers. Hell, you in Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? Contact us. Call that number, 502-498-7288. Contact the brothers, man. Get involved. Yeah, the Most High is going to provide, but he wants you to be included so you can get the reward too. Because don't expect a reward if you didn't get involved. The Most High told you to do something, you didn't do it, man. We ain't out here trying to game you up. We just telling you the truth, man. We ain't promised you no blessing, no nothing like that. Hell, you blessed because you got the ability to do it. That's the thing about it. It's better to give, you know what I'm saying, than to receive. You ever heard that one?
Right.
You know what I mean? You got the means to do it, so why don't you go ahead and do it? But tonight's class, we teaching about the laws. we about to go into the book of Leviticus. The Most High said that we could eat meat. We could eat certain type of meat, animals that chew the curd, that was cloven-footed. What is that? That's cows. There's things like goats and things like right, the part the hoof too.
Yeah, the clothes.
The part the hoof like that.
The toes that do that and the chew the cud. Anything that does that is clean.
Right, it is clean meat to eat. You understand me? Now think about a pig. A pig don't chew the curd. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about a swine. It might divide, but it don't chew the curd. What does that do? It eats anything. It eats slop. You can throw a pig. That's just like a rib back in the day. She lived on a farm in Mississippi, right? I went to visit her on that farm and seen one of them nasty pigs out there, them swines, and that swine would eat anything. And that thing looked disgusting. It was rolling in the mud, and they just feed it, and it'll eat apples. It'll eat anything. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you throw it at, it'll eat dung, right? If it's mixed in there, it's greedy. Just like your the characteristics, if I could real quick, of your oppressor. He's just like that too. He'll eat anything too. You want to bring something up?
Nah, it's like my brother told me when he was at one of them rotary farms, and one of their jobs was slopping the hogs, feeding the hogs. He said that as they were slopping the hogs, said like little baby hogs would even fall into the slop. And it was scalding because the slop, he said that slop is piping hot. Pigs' mouths are numb. That's one of the reasons why they can eat anything. You know what I'm saying? Because their mouths are numb. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those little baby pigs, because when they threw that slop down, all the pigs would come rushing. You know what I'm saying? And all the baby hogs, it'd be baby hogs, and they would get brought behind the force. They would get knocked into the trough, and they would eat them too. Eat them and the slop both. Wow.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it. And if they eating that, and you eating pork, what you eating? You know what I'm saying? You eating what the pigs eat. You know what I mean? So you eating double trouble. You know what I mean? Toxins, the trichina worm. You ever heard of that? That worm that it don't die in the heat, or it takes extreme amount of heat to kill it. It goes up into the brain. Now, even Muslims got sense enough not to eat swine. How much more should an Israelite, which the Muslims got a lot of their laws that they do keep similar to the Bible from us, like not eating pork. They got that from Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and then they try to claim it for their own in the, in the Quran. You know what I'm saying? We eat halal. We eat halal. You know what I'm saying? Look, man. But you'll sell a black person a pork chop in a minute. A damn pig feet. You ever go into them corner stores? They have the pig feet in the jar. You know, let me get the one with the toe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? They'll sell that to you, right? Because they look at you as an infidel. Even your own people, they call themselves Muslim. Right? They'll sell that to you too. Because they don't really. That's why the only place that brotherhood is in the I.S.U.P.K. We're gonna love ourselves like we love our brother like we love ourselves. I'm just paraphrasing. That's what we do. We're not gonna sell our brother that pig feet, because the scriptures say we're gonna come to it where the swine's unclean. You feel me? But your Christian pastor, he don't give a damn. He wants to eat off of you, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to be sick so he can keep praying for you. You see what I mean? Instead of telling you the true remedy, look, you need to stop, Miss Betty, you need to stop eating them hog maw. I know you love them, but that was what they gave our ancestors in slavery. That's not even real food. What you do, we got a dietitian here, she'll help you, Miss Betty. But they don't do that. You know what they want to say? They want you to keep eating what you eating, so they can say you got a demon, what you call a ailment demon or something. You know what I'm saying? A demon, what they call that spirit, they say? A spirit of sickness or something on you. You know, that's what they say, so that you can keep eating what you eating, and they can blame it on a demon. So they can say, well, just keep coming to church, paying your tithes, so that way we can pray for you. Just keep on coming. That's the hustle. You know, it's a hustle in that church. So they don't tell you what you really need to do to be healed. You know, that's healing. You know, the truth and the laws of the Most High's word is healing. But what they'll try to do is they lay hands on you. You know, they lead them. He just got through eating a damn bacon sandwich. And he laid them same hands on you, you know, anoint you with bacon oil. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna heal your ass. Let me tell you something, man. He's a goddamn devil himself because he learned everything he learned from that your oppressor in slavery on them cargo slave ships. That's right. You never heard this in Pittsburgh. If you are a descendant of the people that came off those cargo slave ships, so-called Negroes, man, you are the true Israelites according to the Bible by blood. That's what the hell you are, man. You special in the earth. You not just some nigga that you was told go back to Africa. You not an African either. Those are different people. We can go into the Bible dictionary and pull up different terms to prove that you're not African. When those Africans come over here to America, they don't have nothing to do with black people. They don't even eat that shit. So lock it. You know, they don't eat the same foods that you eat, that you was taught to eat by your slave master. Because, and you see that for the most part, you know, they don't have certain sicknesses. You know, you don't see a lot of them. You want to bring something out?
I got a question.
Oh, constantly.
If it's a boar, even though it's not a pig, if it's a boar, would a boar be clean to eat?
I don't know much about the boar. If I could, you got that.
Okay. Now, how you tell, you know, what is what? Look at you because, you know, you have different variations of the same thing. You know, just like an eagle is unclean to eat, you got different variations of the eagle. You got the, you know, this kind of eagle, the bald eagle, that eagle, the hawk. You got all of these different type of variations. They all go up under the same category. Now, the pig, on one hand, has its family too, which is boars and warthogs and all of that, so on and so forth. Everything, remember what it said, everything was created after its kind.
Right.
So when the hog was created, different variations of the hog was created too. You know, and they are all unclean. Look at the characteristics of them. They have the same characteristics of a pig. They eat anything, and they part the hoof, but they choose not the cud. Bottom line. Right,
and that's real heavy for you to know because the Christian pastor will pull that precept when they don't understand that precept that Paul was talking about, as far as like what I'm paraphrasing, what God declared clean, no man should call unclean. You know what I'm saying? That's not talking about food. And for the sake of time, we're not going to get into that tonight. That's another class. But what you got to understand in Pittsburgh, look, you've been going to those churches for far too long and being deceived. It's time for you to contact the true priest and prophets, and that's in the I.S.U.P.K. and the Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Make sure you go to that website, ISUPK.com, and get in contact with us. We are going to have a school in Pittsburgh, but we need the support of the people. If you want to be saved, you need to participate in your salvation. You see what I'm saying? Hell, Christian pastor tell you he gonna build a church or something. He gonna have a picnic. You gonna pour all your money into that. Meanwhile, what happened? The same pastor is gonna be eulogizing your son's funeral, your daughter's funeral. See, the Christian church, they get paid off the misery and death of black people. Hell, the Christian pastor, the mortician, you know, all these people, it's like a chain, a food chain.
Right.
All these people get paid off of your ignorance of eating improperly. Right? Think about it. You eat, you die, you croak. Who do they call to eulogize your funeral? Christian pastor. And then the body, they got to call the mortician. You know what I'm saying? They call the coroner. He get paid. You know, city council, you know, the newspaper, when they put your obituary in the newspaper, they get paid. It's just all kind of people get paid off of your ignorance. You probably can think of some more out of them.
Yeah, they do. And notice always, too, inside the church, when they have them little fans when it's hot, where do those fans come from?
Right.
They ain't made by different companies that sponsor that church. It's only funeral homes.
Right. Because
the two are partnered together. They want you to die.
Exactly.
Because they make money off of your death. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They make money off of your life that's dying, and then when you die, officially, then the funeral home makes money, and they together in this.
Right.
They profiting off your death.
Exactly. It's real heavy because it's like a sadistic food chain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the Christian pastor is right in the middle of it. You know, he got to keep you ignorant so that, you know, you keep eating those hog maws. You keep eating the Fatback.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then he getting everybody else, and then you waving that fan and talk about such and such mortuary or such and such funeral home like that. And you know what I mean? And look, it's time for you to do better. And tonight is a law class, and part of living, you know what I'm saying, and what was that he said? Before I give you life and death, I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Blessings and curses. The blessing and life is by living by the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The curses and death is doing the opposite of that. We're going to get more into the scriptures, if I could, Salaku. And we was in the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter, if I could. And it says, verse 4, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the curd. So this is an animal that chew the curd. You know what I'm saying? The grass and things in the field. Or of them that divide the hoof. See, we got the Most High is very detailed about his instructions. The camel, right? Meanwhile, them Arabs over there, they eat camel. Right. They ride them and they eat them. See what I'm saying? Right. So you're not supposed to eat the camel. And then there's a lot of silly, a lot of our women is silly. They go into these Arab corner stores and stuff like that, and they hook up with hot meat and all that. He got them eating all kind of abominable stuff. Right. They eat camel. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the Most High told us to separate from anybody that is not a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. We're not supposed to have interracial sex and relationships with anybody else. If you're a black woman, Hispanic woman, you're not supposed to sleep with an Arab. You're not supposed to sleep with an African. Be a bust down in the back of them goddamn stores, man. That's just like Nipsey Hussle. Yeah. Somebody tried to say he was a brother. He was an Ethiopian. He was a goddamn bust down.
You're Eritrean.
Right.
Which is the same thing as an Ethiopian. It's just the bastard children of Ethiopia.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Them people right there come over here in the community and they profit off the death and the sorrow and the ignorance of black people's diets. Because think about it, they sell Twinkies and cupcakes and, you know, chips and with monosodium glutamate and all that stuff like that. All kind of additives and preservatives that's harmful to the human body.
They serve pork.
Right.
They serve the pork Vienna sausages, treat, you know, all of that stuff that their book says for them not to eat.
Right.
But they sell it to us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you're not supposed to sell nothing unlawful like that. The Bible is plain on what thing you can't eat yourself, but you can sell to someone else. Like anything that dieth of itself. Mm-hmm. Something that dieth of itself, or some roadkill. You know what I'm saying? A deer they got, you know what I'm saying? They got hit and been out there or whatever, and he's wounded. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can sell it to him, but you cannot chop up pork chops and sell to him, though. God. Even though he a heathen. Exactly. You can't do that. But that, you know, that roadkill on that clean animal, you can sell it to him. Or something that died of itself, you can sell that to him for him to eat. But you can't sell it to your people, and you can't eat it yourself. The Most High makes a defining line between us and the heathen, while everybody's sitting there saying no. But if we got to go to the same laws, then we all together. We all bull crap. Right, because that shows the difference between us and another nation. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Even if the nations is, act like they're trying to keep the laws and stuff like that, that's dead on right there. Right. They not, and that goes to show you the distinction. You go to the book of Psalms, chapter 147, and verse 19 through 20, where it talks about, you only have I known, talking about Jacob, of all the families on earth. He gave us his laws, statutes, and commandments, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Not them other people. It's quite evident how they live. Hell, they got their own land over there where they at. And look at how they live. The Spirit of God's not on them people. You know who it's on? It's on Commander GEN.YAHANNA and I.S.U.P.K. Right. You feel what I'm saying? It's on us. Because we are actually teaching you how to live. And we not trying to gang you up talking about, yeah, give us some money, send in, your love gift of, what I'm saying? If you send in $125 in 125 days, you're going to get 125 blessings. You know what I'm saying? Give you all this, trying to gang you up, you know what I'm saying? And tell you, sister, go out into the audience.
this sister right here, Red, you live at 125 Parker Street. Yeah, I do. You know what I'm saying? What do? They have you sign that little card. You feel what I'm saying? When you come in as a church visitor, and then they get somebody on the computer. Go look that up on Google Maps.
Right.
Look at their house. And then I want you to explain what their house looked like. He explained he said I had a white picket fence and everything. He's sitting there on Google Maps and he got a thing in his ear and he's talking right to him. Tell her she got a dog too. I got a pit bull. Right, sister, you coming in some money? And then they start, whoa! Yeah. Slocky. Go ahead, Slocky.
I see a blue house.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? They might because they got to try to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, like it's some of the vision that they're getting, but they don't quite totally understand it. Right. You know, I see a blue house.
God.
And I also see a red car in the driveway. That's my house.
Right.
That's my house.
Sister, the Lord told me you didn't give what you were supposed to give to him.
Right.
You know, then they guilt her and frighten her into giving to the pastor, and then say you got one more opportunity to give that $1,000 seed faith offering gift.
Right.
And then and this time it's a penalty, so that means you got to give double. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you do all that stuff. Meanwhile, you still in the predicament that you was. Grandmama's still sick. Pawpaw in the back room, you know what I'm saying, got asthma and stuff. Because he don't got no omega-3s. And you know that you need omega-3s so that you can properly breathe. You know, I forgot what it does, but it causes like a effect in your body. You need that. And what foods is that in? That's in fish. That's in different things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that along with certain other elements. You know, you just going to be ill. You're going to have all kind of ailments. Right? They never teach you that in school. I remember when I was in college, I did a class. And I was naive at the time. And I did a class trying to explain why every elementary school needs to teach basic nutrition. All them Edomites was looking at me like I was crazy. And I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, well, this seems like the natural thing to do. We teach people their A, B's, and C's. We teach people about George Washington. We should teach people how to eat right. Right. Because we don't know how to eat. You got to pretty much study yourself and know what you eat. They give you the food tree, but really the laws is in the Bible. We'll be bringing out some of them tonight. We're not going to go through all of them, but we're bringing out some of them tonight. And if I could, you might want to monitor, you might want to monitor something if I could. But, I mean, it's real heavy. You feel what I'm saying? Because we bringing it out. And you got to know this stuff, man. Right. Most High in Christ. It's real heavy. We bring it out. So you got to know that. Yeah, it's real heavy because we just bringing out some of the laws in the Bible, right? Meat is good to eat if it's the right type of meat, right? They chew the curd, cloven hooded, and the part the hoof, cow, deer, different meats like that. A goat, hell, some goat meat's good. But we eat at the Passover, you know what I'm saying? Lamb, so it's that lamb. You know, a lot of Benjamites eat that goat. Eat the goat is good. You know what I mean? That ain't nothing wrong with that meat. Some curry and all that, jerk sauce. But you'd have been trying to become vegans and all that stuff, eating soya. If I could, Salak, get 1 minute. Yeah, but you got to be able to know these things, man, and watch what the hell you eat. And if you don't know more, make sure you continue to watch the I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh classes, man. Make sure you continue to watch them because we're going to game you up so that you can live and not die. You understand? Shout out to everybody watching the stream. Share the class if you're watching so that everybody can be edified. It's real heavy what we bringing out, the I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh classes, man. We coming on and we coming on real strong, but we need the support of the people. You understand? Now the Most High is going to provide regardless. But what you do is you get involved with the Lord's army, right? You get involved with the Lord's army. So we're going to go back into the scriptures, and we're about to get it cracking a little bit more. We was in the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter. We was talking about what not to eat. You can't eat the camel because he cheweth the curd, but divideth not the hoof. He is unclean. When it says unclean in the scriptures, it talks about he's not good. You're not supposed to eat it. He is unclean to you. The coney, what is that? That's like rabbits of the rabbit family. The coney. You can't eat those. And it's a different variation of rabbits. I remember when I was in the military, they were trying to feed us rabbit. And I never did eat a little rabbit leg. I knew something was wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't eat the rabbit, the coney. It's of the coney family, right? Because he cheweth the curd, but he divided not the hoof. He is unclean to you.
Got a question.
Right.
What about the hagfish?
The hagfish.
Right.
Okay, it has fins and scales.
Hagfish got the fins, but it don't got the scales.
Most High say in the scriptures you can eat what has fins and scales, right? Just like a catfish got fins, but it don't have scales. So a catfish is unclean to eat. That's why it tastes like mud half the time when you eat it. It got, always, when I used to eat catfish back in the world, I always used to taste, it tastes like mud. You know what I'm saying? That's why I knew something was wrong with it. Because think about it, those scales were the Most High's way of keeping the toxins from, coming into the pores of that animal. Right. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Like shingles on a roof.
Right. Exactly. Like the shingles on the roof. It keeps the water from getting in. It keeps the impurities from getting in. Right? That's what we're trying to bring out. It said, and the hair. Well, you know what I'm saying? The hair, that would be like the rabbit family. I think the coney is close.
Yeah, the hair is a rabbit family.
Yeah, it's close to it too. Because he cheweth the curd, but divided not the hoof. He is unclean to you. Now, here's the thing tonight. You're talking about the fatback. The ham hocks, you know what I'm saying? The hog maws, the chitlins, you know what I'm saying? You got that big red bucket. I remember my mom used to use that red bucket for a mop bucket. You know what I'm saying? We used to use that red chitlin bucket and double it for a mop bucket, right? This stuff is unclean to you, man. You're not supposed to eat that stuff, right? The swine, Leviticus 11:7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Bam. What is a swine? It's hog. It's a pig. You can't eat it in no form or fashion. I don't care if it's bacon. I don't care if it's pepperoni. It's sausage, Italian sausage, ham, a Canadian bacon. Right. All that stuff you think that they try to season it up and make it, taste a certain way, you can't eat it. Get you some beef pepperoni. Looks like beef, they got beef pepperoni.
Yeah, beef pepperoni, turkey pepperoni.
They got that. Eat that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that way, the point is that the Most High, it's also obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Right? You being obedient, plus it's going to be a reward in that. Your body is the temple. Right? We talked about in the beginning how the Most High had the priests take care of that temple. They did meticulous works to make sure this was that way. This was that way. They didn't just treat the temple any old way. You know what I mean? The Most High you would have been killed. You know what I'm saying? You would have been killed for that strange fire. You're going to get destroyed for putting strange food in your body. You keep doing it. Time to repent. So let me read that again. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. You're not even supposed to touch that stuff. A lot of us, we didn't know better. Yeah, we still working in slaughterhouses and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got gloves and stuff on, stuff like that, but we're not even supposed to be touching that. Some of y'all got slaves out there where you have to work around this stuff, so just be mindful of that. They are unclean to you. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Now this we talking about the fish. Whatsoever have fins, the fins, things that flap, and the scales. The scales. Think about Aquaman's, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all watch Marvel stuff. them, it look like shingles on a house. Those are the scales on a fish. So it got to have those fins and the scales. Right. Swordfish is unclean because it has fins, it don't have scales.
Right.
Catfish is unclean because it has fins, it don't have scales. You see what I'm saying? Shrimp has scales, but it don't have fins. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shrimp is a arthropod, like a sea roach. That's what the hell that is. I think that's what they call it. It's a sea roach. And lobster. All them things like that with them tentacles and stuff, especially a lobster. You ever look at a lobster and a roach? They look the same. That's what you eat in a sea roach. When you eat the red lobster and you crack that big old lobster tail open. Hell, when they cook it, look at the inhumane acts of your goddamn oppressor. They put it alive in some boiling hot water. You know what I'm saying? That's how they cook it. You know what I mean? That's the same thing they did for black people too. They put you in some hot, you know, and they boiled you. You feel what I'm saying? You think they didn't do that? Did they boil somebody in some hot oil? One of the prophets? That's what I heard.
Yeah, some
you know, they boiled them some
prophets in oil, right?
Right, they did all kind of abominable things to black people in slavery. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I seen a post where they was boiling Benjamites in hot sugar cane juice. Did you see that?
Nah, I ain't seen
yeah, that was on social media too. I saved that one. I'm gonna bring that out. So I should have, man. I wish I had the information. I'll bring that out. That's what they did. They was boiling Benjamites, you know, because they had the sugar canes. Now, sugar cane is one of the most healthiest things you can have. They demonize sugar, talking about now it's that granulated white sugar, because real sugar is not white. Real sugar is brown and it's juice.
Right.
Oh,
and the cane is that's some, you know, you can eat that, you know what I'm saying? That cane is something delicious and it's healthy, real healthy for you.
Right.
You know, because I had it on the shoot, you know what I'm saying, on the sugar cane, fresh off the sugar cane shoot.
Exactly.
You know?
It's extremely healthy for you.
Right.
Look at it in nature. Look at how tall it grows. Anything that grow that high got so much nutrition in it. What do you think is gonna happen in your body? That's why they don't want you to have sugar cane.
Right.
When they knew how healthy it was and it was keeping them Benjamites big and strong and stuff like that, they said, no, we're gonna take out all the nutrients and give them the extracts, that white sugar.
As a matter of fact, they put the muzzles on the Benjamite's mouth so that they couldn't eat no sugar cane.
Exactly.
When they was, because you're supposed to be able to eat, you know, like the scriptures say,
muzzle.
don't muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn.
Right. Exactly.
You know, you're supposed to be able to eat of what it is that you're actually producing and what you're laboring with. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Right. And that's the thing about it, and that's what you got to understand. Hell, they don't even want you to fish on certain lakes. Right. Nowadays, you got to have a fishing license. You got to go to the game warden to hunt. You know what I mean? Everything is regulated in this goddamn place because if you are black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, what you don't realize is that you're really a slave here in America. Right. It's just like that movie back in the day, The Matrix. You live in a false reality. You know, they was hooked up to a computer the whole time and they didn't even know it. And then this computer was feeding them thoughts. You know what I'm saying? They thought they was eating a steak. They thought this and thought that, just like you. Hell, you hooked up to Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Right. You hooked up to Christianity in the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? And you don't know it. You going through the maze of life. Every year it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Wake up. Go to work. Come home. Watch TV. Wake up. Go to work. Come on. Watch TV. Right. Then the weekend come. You watch basketball, football. Right. Then holler, oh, I got a day off. It's Christmas today. Yeah. And every year it's the same thing until you die. Meanwhile, the white man's, he's making, your oppressor, he's making 300-year plans on how to keep us in slavery and working with the other nations, the Chinese man. Let me tell you something too, if I could. This is something like a sidebar. A lot of the foods that they trade to, they trade with these different countries, like, you know, that's why they make it hard for the Brazilians to have certain food, because those are our people too. Like bananas and different things, organic bananas, some of the best stuff coming over here. And then they have these labor disputes and trade wars, just like your president's doing right now. Meanwhile, he's allowing he say he's putting tariffs on certain countries, taxes and stuff like that. But the thing is look, they letting the Chinese people come over here and bring GMO meat. Meat! I'm just telling you straight up. And them people eat dogs, rats, cats, bats, and all that stuff like that. They eat anything. This was like that commercial back in the day. Give it to Mikey. He eats anything. He likes it. He likes it. You know what I'm saying? That's the Chinese man. I find rat. I drained it. I cooked this. I sell it to black one. Black people, no one know. That's what the fuck, Slocky. That's what the hell they'll do. They will catch a rat in a minute and sell it to black people and pass it off as chicken. You eating that stuff. You ain't supposed to eat no goddamn rat, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of, you sitting here going out eating Chinese. Look, we shut down a goddamn Chinese restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky. You know what they did? They kidnapped a black boy, and they held him at gunpoint. Hell, I'd be surprised if they would throw him in the pot and called him chicken. You can't trust nothing that these goddamn heathens tell you because they don't have no standard. The Most High didn't give them no laws, and they won't listen to us. And we're trying to teach them, hey, look, you can't be eating these goddamn dogs, man, right? But that shows you that they don't have no respect for the Most High. The Most High created these people to be our servants, and we to teach these people. But here's the thing, everything's upside down. It's topsy-turvy in this wicked kingdom, right? You think the Chinese man got to worry about eating pork hot dog? Hell no. He got enough money to eat what he want in this Babylonian system. He still chooses to eat the dog and the cat. White man, your oppressor, the Edomite in the Bible, he can choose to eat anything he wants. He chooses to eat snails. Call it escargot. You know what I mean?
Right.
He chooses to eat all kind of abominable things. Hell, Vietnamese, they drink blood.
Hell, they will.
Go ahead.
In Louisville, Kentucky, back in the day, you didn't find a squirrel, a cat, or even the animals knew not to go in there into these specific apartments.
Right.
Because the Vietnamese lived there, they would hunt them dogs and cats or whatever it was down, and they would cook the hell out of them and eat them. And they would hunt them right in front of people. They didn't care. They were some skillful hunters when it came to it too. But you go through the apartments one day and you'll smell something, you'll be like, you don't know whether it smells good or bad. You're like, what, because it's cooked meat, but you're like, what is something different to it, something wrong with it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about it. Most High in Christ, because those people right there, and you can look at it even on their physical stature. A lot of them look like they got Down syndrome. You know what I'm saying? They look something wrong with them because they don't eat right. They look funny and strange. I'm just gonna keep it right. Go ahead.
Yeah, them not looking right also has to do with how they were birthed as a nation of people.
God, so,
you know what I'm saying?
With lot.
They were the Mongol.
Mongolism, right? And that tells you they eat like some retarded people because of lucky.
Right.
I'm just telling because they are a race of people with Down syndrome. What Adam was talking about is what Lot, his daughters had incest with them when they left out of Sodom and Gomorrah, and they produced Ammon and they produced Moab, and then they went on to be the race in Mongolia. The Chinese and the Japanese and the Asian races. They even got a country over there called Mongolia. Right. Mongolism. Look up that term. Right. Mongolism. That's a term for Down syndrome. And they even had black people over there, with froze. But, they wasn't black in the sense that they was Israel, but they was, at one time we was connected with them people. They had dark skin and they had afros. And they hid them people up in the mountains because they was ashamed of them. And they start sleeping more and more with Esau and becoming lighter and lighter. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, they still got a lot of them people over there. Them Asian people with afros and stuff in the mountains. And they look at them as the worst of their nation. You know what I mean?
Right,
they keep them out. So you see them, they not black people, but they got black features because they got froze and they dark and their eyes are slanted.
Because Ammon and Moab back in the day, hell, Lot looked similar to Abraham.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So did his daughters. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So those people, they they push them, you know, back up into the, you know, like they're in the crevices of Ammon and Moab history. You know what I'm saying? They're the history, part of the history that they don't like, that they really want to blot out for real. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's real heavy. We bring it out.
Just because of their image, not because they're Israelites. Just because their image. You know what I'm saying? They're Ammon and Moab just like the rest of them.
It's real heavy. And that's what you got to understand, because them people will eat anything. You know what I'm saying? Just like somebody that don't got no good sense. You know, let's just call them slow. They slow. You know, in the sense of, you know what I'm saying? You got to be half retarded to eat a dog and a cat. I'm just going to say, I told you, we come real raw, the priests and prophets, but we got to say that. Now, some of y'all going to be like, that's not the politically right to say, calling somebody retarded. Retarded simply means slow. And you got to be slow if you eating a rat. You know what I mean? Something ain't right. You off in the head. They used to, down south, they say you touched in the head. Right. Boy, touched in the head. So you got something.
Right, but we don't see them like that because they're rich and powerful.
Right.
That's the reason why we don't see them for who they are. It's a scripture that say, it's in the Apocrypha, say, if a rich man eat a snake, they say it's because of his wisdom. But if a poor man eat a snake, they say it's because he's hungry.
Right.
So we figured that them eating squids and, you know, and all of that, and octopuses and stuff like that, live animals on a damn plate, you know, in Japan and all of that, and eating dog, we think there's some wisdom behind that because the people that are actually doing it are rich and have power on the earth.
Exactly. Right. Most High Christ for that. Out of one, and it's just like the snail. They call it escargot. You understand? Octopus, calamari. Right. That's what they call all that stuff like that. And this is all the stuff that the Most High said not to eat. Right. Let me go back into these scriptures. We're gonna talk about some of the fowl. And that's the birds, and then we're going to wrap it up. This is in the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 13. It's like we go up to 12. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, thou shalt be an abomination unto you. Now, this is going back to the fish, though. So if it don't got fins or scales, it's an abomination, meaning don't eat it. Don't eat the catfish. Don't eat the lobster. Don't eat the shrimp. Don't eat scallops. All that stuff right there don't have fins and scales. Verse 13. And this are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. So that means it's going to be unclean to you, according to the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle. Wow. That eagle is the so-called prester. Look at that as such a majestic bird. And really all the Most High's creatures are majestic. Because he created them all. Even the roach. Even the tarantula. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Each of them got a certain purpose. Right? And that's, he props himself up like the eagle. You know what I'm saying? You look at the eagle. It stands tall and proud. You know what I'm saying? That's why every nation that he establishes, he uses the eagle. You know what I'm saying? Because that depicts his personality. He's very proud, and he looks down on people like ants and stuff like that. Right. That's your goddamn oppressor, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how he see you. You want to bring something up?
Also, what he does, too, is he flies high, he looks down low, and he swoops down upon prey that's weaker, that he views as being weaker than himself.
Right.
It's like what an eagle does.
Unsuspectingly, too. You don't even know. You get a bill in the mail, where the hell this came from? Right. That's the eagle. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's America. You know what I'm saying? You just got your tax money, and now all of a sudden you got a bill. Unexpectedly, like that eagle swooping down on you. That's a way he gets you too.
Also, too, satellites.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The satellites was made after what? The eagle. Because what does it do? It flies high and it's able to look down very low, just like what an eagle does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Who invented who made the damn satellite? The white man.
Right. Your damn oppressor.
The oppressors.
Yeah. They made it. And think about it. They even got satellites that can look down into your dwelling, and it got body heat. It can see the body. See how many people's in your dwelling based on the body heat. You know, they sense the body heat. They don't know if it's a kid. They have all kind of stuff like that.
Right.
And all these technologies and stuff like that. But the Most High can send us a signal to disrupt all that. And And that's what happens in ISUPK. We're not worried about all that. So you can spy and have your spy eye in the sky and all that stuff like that. But the Most High is looking down on you. You understand me? He, he, like they say, he sits high and looks low. And you ever heard that term? I'm just saying it. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He's looking down on the goddamn eagle that's looking down on black people.
Right.
You understand? So this is unclean, right? An abomination. And the osprey, and the vulture, and just like the characteristics, he's like a vulture too, your oppressor. You understand? He waits for you to, damn near die, then he comes in to pick your bones. That's what he does to black people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He swoops and he circles, he hovers around you. He sees you weak. You know what I'm saying? He's just waiting for his moment to come, swoop down and finish you off. What does that look like? You weak in the ghettos. You weak by drugs. And then he finishes you off. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Also, too, he invites his other vultures in.
Right.
Which is all the other nations to sit there and pick our bones clean. Now you got to get your fried chicken from the Arabs. Mm-hmm. You're getting your cigarettes and all of that stuff, from the Arabs. They're profiting off of our dead body, just like with a vulture. And they said our bodies will be meat unto the fowls of the air.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's real heavy. And that's the thing about it, too, because I remember that, too. I remember when I was in the Esau's military, right? I was in Cuba, and I was just out there for a couple of minutes. I was just laying there. It was so hot, and I was just laying. I was about a minute later, I opened my eyes, and I seen like 3 big-ass vultures circling around, hovering right over me. They was looking at me like, yo, he about to die any minute. I just took a rest for a minute, and I opened my eyes, and that's what was happening. And I grabbed a rock, and get away from me! I said, I was mad as hell. You know what I'm saying? And that's what your oppressors do. Because think about that. Anything that you eat, hell, even the native Indians knew that you somewhat take the spirit on of that food.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's why a lot of them act like pigs. They eat a lot of swine and they greedy like a goddamn pig. They take on that spirit of the animal they ate. Most I didn't want that. So lock it. We could go deeper into that, but for the sake of time, we're going to keep moving along. Basically, you go into the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and it'll tell you about different animals that's clean, meaning you can eat, and different animals that's unclean, meaning that you can eat. You cannot eat. Slocky. I'm just going down. Hell, you can't eat the owl, which would be common sense. These are different. The stork, you can't eat that. You can't eat the bat. All fowls that creep. You know what I mean? Going upon all 4 shall be an abomination unto you. Let's go to see what we can eat, though, if I could. Right, this is the I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh class, man. We getting it in, man. We in Pittsburgh now, the I.S.U.P.K., the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, since 1969, man. We are the original. We're the original, you know what I'm saying? And it's an exclusive, right? So, you might have seen some dude in a purple nightgown in your city calling himself to be a prophet. Look, man, that's a homosexual. You understand? He is not a true man of God wearing some purple, sexy Victoria's Secret negligee, with a Bible. You know what I'm saying? Right. Look, man, don't listen to them people. I'm just going to tell you straight, right? But basically, you can eat the chicken. You know what I'm saying? You can eat chicken. You can eat the turkey. What else is you can eat that's foul?
Quail.
The quail.
And also, too, because there's also, for Will, there's also a big old, they're saying, oh, chicken is unclean. Chicken is unclean. Chickens and turkeys, all of these are bigger variations of the quail.
Right.
Or the quail is a smaller variation of them, whichever one came first. They are, you got to understand variations of things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can tell a variation of somebody's habits also. You know what I'm saying? They'll do the same, chickens and turkeys and stuff like that will do the same things and eat the same stuff. They eat the grains and the seeds and stuff like that. That's their food.
Right. It's real heavy. It says, if I could, Leviticus 11:21, these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that go upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Right? Like that chicken.
Well, now, that's for we'll worry. No, that one right there is talking about like the locusts.
Oh, okay, the locusts.
Like
okay.
that. Right. There's locusts, the grasshopper family, you know, crickets, you know, all that stuff is actually, you know, but the time that you'll eat stuff like that is a lot of times if you're at war.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why, like what it said, John the Baptist ate locusts and wild honey. You know, and that was his food. Where was he at? He was in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was out, you know, separated himself from society and had his men, you know, rolling with him.
Right.
You know, he was pretty much spiritually at war. You know what I'm saying? He was at war just like, you know, if you physically at war and you out there, and, you know, in the wilderness and the woods and stuff like that, you see locusts and stuff like that. You see, you know, out of all of those creeping things that have the legs above their feet, it means the legs that stand up like that, you know, that stand up. You know, those, you know, that hop and leap. You know, you can take locusts, boil them, you know what I'm saying, and eat them.
Yeah, when I was in Thailand, they had locusts on a stick, like they had them on like a grill. They was dry. I probably but I don't know them damn heathens. No telling what they put on them damn things. But I probably would have tried it if I knew, you know, it was just that locust on it, because it was big as hell. You know what I'm saying? I was daring back then, shit. You know, now come to find out that they was actually clean foods to eat.
Right.
But they had other stuff that they had that wasn't unclean, like they had mealworms. All piled up, eating a bowl of mealworms.
Yeah.
And you can't eat no stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So tonight's class, you know, it was a dietary law class. We're going to have more classes on that. I.S.U.P.K. Pittsburgh, Wednesday night law class. Make sure you come back next week. And with that said, I'm going to read the announcements. We had I.S.U.P.K. start out at 1 West 125th Street, rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10 means tenth in the Hebrew. Bayashra, 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the teacher. You pay on the website, ISUPK.com. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. It's not mandatory, but let me say this too. If you want to see your community get better, you got to invest in it, right? Pittsburgh, you want to get better, you need to invest in the people that's going to make it better. Not the Christian church, not the Muslim mosque. Hell, you've had them there forever. And look at Pittsburgh. It's destroyed in the hoods. Contact the I.S.U.P.K. This is a free will offering. You got to invest in the men that's investing in you, right? Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation. Now, what that is a holiday, so-called high holy day, according to the Bible. The next one coming up is going to be at the end of this month, September 28th, right? I'll have more confirmation on that next week, so lock it. Anyone wants to be a trooper in the school in Pittsburgh, right? We coming out to Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? We need brothers and sisters to support. If you want to get involved in the Most High's army, wear y'all black, right? All black. Boots, pants, your shirt, your headband, your scarf, and come out. We're going to make an announcement when we come out there and speak. And we want y'all to come out there and support, man. We standing up for black people. We're going to do something so unprecedented in Pittsburgh. You never seen black men stand up so strong for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in Pittsburgh. So we're going to want you to get that support to us. And with that said, I'm going to give a courtesy salute to all the brothers watching the class. Majum Shabbat. Imajim, Barak,
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yazmatah. Courtesy salute to the sisters watching. Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak,
Yahweh Shamar Ayatah Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Yazmatah. Class dismissed.